Welcome to the Backyard Quarterbacks. This is a special episode. This is just fantasy football. As you see, Tyler or Adam is not on here. That's because they suck at fantasy football, or they actually don't play. Maybe I won't be that rude. But I'm here with Marcus Jackson. We go back FAMU days in college, both physical education majors, and I'll go ahead and pass the mic to him just for a second here.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Like my boy Ryan said, my name is Marcus, last name Jackson. You can call me Action, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, they called me Batman in college just because I had on the hat one day in school. But I'm just a sports enthusiast that's from Orlando, Florida. I'm an Eagles fan, college football, go Gators. You know, hey, sorry, Ryan, I know you'll know, but again, go Gators. And also, I was born in Georgia, so go Bulldogs too. All right, hey, that's about it from me. Go ahead, Ryan.
All right, we're going to do a mock draft. We're just going to do like the ESPN mock. We're doing a 10-team PPR. This is a redraft episode. So redraft is just each year you play fantasy football, you pick from every player. The other ones will be called best ball. That's you pick a lineup and you don't touch anything for the whole year. And let's see, there's dynasty leagues where you keep all the players you draft in 1 year. And then here we are with the redraft, which is the majority of what people do. You get a list of players 1 through 1,000. They're all ranked of who you think is going to be the best. It's all opinion. You know, I don't know how many times I've done fantasy. If you type in fantasy sleepers, you type in fantasy breakouts, you type in as many articles there are about someone that's going to do good, there's just as many articles of reasons why they're going to do bad. So it's basically just opinion. I kind of just go by the eye test a lot. I remember when T. Higgins was a rookie, and I was like, hey, man, this guy's going to be good. I remember A.J. Brown, his first year. So I'm like, yo, when you look at this guy, hey, you know, it's just like I kind of go by that, where it's like, whoa, this guy, he looks like he's a little bit different than everybody else. He's a game
always a rookie sleeper out there.
Oh, yeah.
Rookie sleeper.
So, yeah, we teamed up. We're at ESPN. We got Jackson, Marcus here at the 3rd pick. I went with the 7th pick. It will start in about a minute and a half. So just going through that top 10 list, I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of these players. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, you got Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jeffries, Dalvin Cook, Jamar Chase, Najee, Leonard Fournette. If you had the 1st pick, who are you going with?
Look, I tell you what, if whoever has the 1st pick don't pick either Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry, they messed up. Like those, like if I have the 1st pick, it's one of those two. And for me, it's probably Jonathan Taylor because of what he did last year. I feel like they're just going to give him more of a workload this year.
Plus, he's 23 years old. I mean, you got Derrick Henry coming back from an injury. Dang, with Derrick Henry, man, when he hits, it's game over.
that is one stiff arm I would never want to run into because you're getting embarrassed automatically.
You play Derrick Henry in fantasy football. This is say he's on your opposing team. You're like, man, I hope he don't go off today. I mean, because this is a legitimate guy that could go 250 yards and 4 touchdowns at any given Sunday.
Any given day. Like, what was it? He busted 90 in each of the last 2 seasons. Was it a 99-yard run?
One was against the Jaguars. He had about 3 different face masks. He had 3 different stiff arms.
Oh,
I mean, it was nasty.
Linemen, linebackers, DB, anybody can get that stiff arm. I watched a workout actually of him the other day on ESPN, and he was just doing these power thrusts, and I was just like, no wonder he tossing people around like that, because you just seen him throwing these weights around. It was crazy, man.
He did it in every single aspect of high school, college. He won the Heisman Trophy with Alabama. Now he's in the NFL. He started off kind of slow. They kind of slow played him because I think he was sharing touches with someone during his rookie year. I can't remember.
Yeah, he was.
But now it's like it's all him. A lot of people is kind of doubting him with the whole foot injury. He's getting older. He's a big back. He's taking a lot of hits. Nobody's ran the ball more than him. He was on pace to get over 400 carries last year.
Yeah,
that's unheard
of. He was going back to back 2000 for sure.
Yeah,
back to back 2000 for sure. He was going. Like, how did you finish in the top 10 league? And he missed how many games? Like 6 or 8 games?
Eight. Was 17 games. I think he played 8.
Yeah.
So it was half the season. I mean,
yeah, he played half the season and still finished in the top 10 in rushing yards.
Yeah, he had 10 touchdowns, almost had 1,000 yards. I think he had 900 and something. Definitely.
I just entered the draft. They gave me pick number 2.
Yes, I see. We're in here. Yeah, we got about a minute and a half.
We got C-Mac projected to go number 2.
So we are in PPR rankings. So PPR means it's a point per reception. So even if he caught the ball and got a negative 3-yard loss, he got a point.
Yeah.
Compared to a running back that he handed off and got negative 3 yards, that might be negative 0.3. With PPR, you do get a point with every reception. And that's why he's up there at number 2, which he has been injured back-to-back seasons at 25 years old now.
Hey, you know who else could probably be a number 1 pick that's not like nobody really looking at him at number 1 pick, but he could probably be, depending on the production that he gets this year, is Najee Harris.
A lot of people have been knocking him too, but I mean, they don't really, I mean, Pittsburgh is like, what's the word? They're not a powerhouse. I'm trying to think. I mean, they're like a vibe. I mean, once you're a Pittsburgh Steeler, like you just went into the cult. Like this is how we play football, and this is what we're going to do. This is the code. Here we go. And Najee, he's going to get receptions. He's going to get the rushes. I do like that pick. But I have seen him fall. I guess they got a new offensive coordinator. They're not going to hand the ball off to him as much. We got the draft is started. Jonathan Taylor just went. Who are you looking at number 3 spot?
I mean, I usually go with a big wide receiver or running back. If this person right here takes C-Mac in the auto, then I'm sorry, I definitely got to go Cooper Kupp. He went bananas last year. Triple crown. With Triple Crown, a lot of people who were in fantasy championships last year had Cooper Kupp on their team. So I usually would like to go running back first. Right. But when you got a wide receiver like Cooper Kupp on the board, that's probably where I have to go, because it looks like this person's gonna auto pick.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp had more points than like quarterbacks last year. It's just something unheard of. So if he did lose, just say 25% of his production, he could still be the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football, which is crazy.
So that's where I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna take Kupp.
All right.
By week number 7. I need to remember that.
Now, a lot of people do go running back just because there's not too many workhorses at this side. I mean, a lot of teams go committee. You got your pass receiving running back. You got your short down goal line backs. You got your 20 to 20 yard line middle or change of pace guys. So a lot of people do. Najee just went. We just talked about Najee. He went 6th overall.
Okay.
I got Justin Jefferson as the top rated. Below that would be Jamar Chase, Dalvin Cook, and Adams. I'm probably going Jefferson just because I mean,
hey, he broke the rookie receiving record his first year. Second year, he had more yards than that. So third year, hey, why not go big again? Especially since he in competition with his boy Jamar Chase now.
I heard that the Rams offensive coordinator now is with
this is his first. I saw that on ESPN yesterday, that Justin Jefferson was excited because out of all the production he's already gotten, he now has his first offensive mind head coach versus a defensive mind head coach.
I don't want to bring race into it, but I would say Jefferson's a little bit more athletic than Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, athleticism. Athleticism. I give that to you. But Cooper Kupp, like
he take Jefferson and outdo what Cooper Kupp did, which is historic.
He's one of those underrated receivers who has a quarterback that is the go-to. As you see what the Rams did in the Super Bowl, they were behind and they needed a score. And that drive, how many passes did you see Cooper Kupp catch on that touchdown drive that won the game, plus the touchdown catch?
I didn't think
you know what I'm saying. So
I was
Cooper
like,
Kupp is one of those receivers. When he got a quarterback that's like, hey, where is my guy? I'm throwing it to him.
Right.
Like, so when you got that quarterback wide receiver relationship, that's exactly what you want in some fantasy football. It was like Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson was going big every game, no matter what, because Matthew Stafford was throwing him the ball whether he was double cover or triple cover.
Right.
Okay.
For my second pick, I went with CeeDee Lamb. He's now the number one in Dallas. Dallas is a high-powered offense. I went with the double wide receiver because if both of them boys hit, which is a very highly possibility, I'm in good shape. You're coming up now with your pick.
Yeah, I'm up on the clock. I got, for me right now, it's out of Joe Mixon and Javonte Williams, who's an absolute beast. But I'm not sure how much he's going to share carries with Melvin Gordon since they brought him back. So I think I'm going to go, know what? I'm going Javonte anyways. Because I don't think they're going to give Melvin that many carries.
The new reports are that he is the number one, and instead of it being a 50-50 timeshare, they're actually, the beat writers saying it's looking more like a 65-70 to 30. Like it's going to be 2-1 with Javonte because he's balling out right now.
And Russell Wilson definitely benefits from a good run game. The Broncos are going to be more dangerous than people have given them this offseason, man, because they got some young talent on offense, and now they got a quarterback who can produce. Like, look at what Russell Wilson did. We're pretty much just like, he didn't really have a solid running game, there most of his years, besides the few years that he had Marshawn Lynch. And now he has Javonte Williams and then Melvin Gordon backing up Javonte, who could probably go somewhere else and start. Right. And like they lost one of their big receivers and Tim Patrick, but they still got Cortland Sutton, who's a beast, but he's been on the Broncos with no quarterback. And Jerry Jeudy, let's not forget him, who had a good bit of injuries last year, but a great route runner. And then they got the speed guy in KJ Hamler. So the Broncos are still looking pretty nice, man. Like,
Cortland Sutton looks like the DK Metcalf, and I would say Jerry Jeudy, would he not be the Tyler Lockett? I mean,
yeah, he would. Okay, so we got Cam Akers, Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen. That's a tough decision because Aaron Jones been splitting carries more recently than he has. You know what? I think I'm going to take Cam Akers. He's not really splitting carries with anybody.
Man,
but that just hurts because I already got Cooper Kupp.
Good point there. I mean,
last second, I picked Keenan Allen.
Hey, that's a consistent player there. I mean, he's the receptions, 100 reps.
Mm-hmm.
Touchdowns might not be astronomical, but he's gonna get a lot of points, especially in PPR.
It's all about those catches, and that's what he's gonna get.
So I'm looking here. It's my turn. I have Cam Akers. I think that would be a good pick, but I'm just kind of scared to pull the trigger on him. Saquon Barkley, is he finally healthy? I mean, they're talking about that. DJ Moore had 163 targets last year.
That's a lot.
I mean, that's like Devontae Adams type, like throws. Now with them having old boy back, or not old boy, but I almost said
You can't forget what Jalen Waddle did his rookie season, though, too.
Look at it on the
right
dot.
there.
I'm going Cam because I need a run.
5 seconds. Okay, yeah.
I went Cam just because I see him getting some receptions too.
I would have went Cam if he didn't also have. I can't pick too many people with the bye week. That's the one mistake I usually make with fantasy football is people with the same bye week, and then you gotta end up risking some players and letting them go just so you can make sure your roster is filled, or just taking an L for that week. Yeah. So got to be a little bit smarter.
Or that's me. I'm coming back. My bad. I'm back now. I got CeeDee Lamb. I really like to go Ezekiel Elliott right here just because he was injured last year. And with him being injured, he still had 12 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. And it was his worst year ever. Now, you do have Tony Pollard that's coming up, but I've seen them maybe put him into a wide receiver role some plays. I see A.J. Brown, I might just do that just to break your heart. But you know what? Oh, man. I'll go Waddle. 100 receptions. I know Tyreek Hill's there, but I don't think he's going to be double teamed with Tyreek there either.
Hey, Miami has set up for the fastest offense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Man, with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Kenyon Drake, he's still there, right?
No, Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds, he's fast. Plus, they got Raheem Mostert too.
Yep.
Like, you talk about speed on Miami.
I need to upgrade my Zoom meeting here, or it's gonna cut us off. So let me get my credit card.
All right, I got you. Running back though. All right, so running back. Oh man.
Where we at?
So I'm at running back. I mean, it's my pick. I got 2 wide receivers, so I'm definitely going another running back right now. And
who you liking?
Right now, I don't know, man. I think is Elijah Mitchell the starter this year?
Yes, he is.
Because if he is, that's definitely who I'm going with. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Travis Etienne, especially since they got James Robinson back there. And I want to pick my boy Miles, but I need Philly to use him. So I'm gonna go Mitchell, man. He's a beast.
I like Kenneth Gainwell, excuse me. He looks like he's
So I think Philly gonna do what they kind of been doing is go with a running back by committee. Yeah. But like I tell people all the time, because I see all these pages and Philly fans, they be blasting Miles Sanders for not really producing. But I'm just like, y'all mad at Miles, y'all should be mad at the coaching, because when you look at his stats, he has the highest, he's tied for the most yards per carry average with 5 yards per carry. And any running back with 5 yards per carry, that's a touchdown every 2 carries. So he has a high yards per carry average, but Philly just haven't given on the ball like they should have, especially on the goal line. Oh snap, I'm back on the clock.
Oh, go ahead.
All right,
gotcha.
Where we go? Flex. Let's see what tight ends are available. Oh, George Kittle and Darren Waller still on the board.
I like both of them. And
I like both. Kyle Pitts is there too.
Is so key in this day of age, because it's like after that top 4 tight end, it's like no man's land. You might have someone that can have a big game like Goddard from Philly. You might have Zach Ertz go off here and there. You might have, but I'm talking about consistency. It's Kelsey, Andrews, Waller, and Kittle, and that's it. Maybe Schultz
I went ahead and snatched up. It's your turn now, but I went ahead and snatched up Kittle, man. Waller's going to produce, but Adams, I feel like Devontae going to take a little bit of his production away.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here now. I was hoping Waller was still there. He's not. Kyle Pitts is the next one. I'm just not confident in Mariota. I might wait till Schultz comes back down the next time. So at this time, I'm going to go with Hollywood Brown, going back to his collegiate quarterback of Kyler Murray.
Those relationships help, man.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that's one of my feelings.
Yep,
I'm
that's
not
a super
dissing
pick.
Lamar's ability in throwing to Brown. Brown had huge games with Lamar, but there's kind of saying that Kyler Murray is a little bit better in that deep long ball. And when they're going to have Hopkins come back, they can't double team him.
Yeah, once D-Hop come back, it's going to be a minutes, man. Hey, man, so I got what? 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. We on the 5th round and a tight end. So this round 6, man. Hey, look, we got Pat Mahomes is still on the board.
He gone. I just saw him.
Oh, never mind. He just went.
And Herbert just
went.
went.
Him and Herbert. This is you up. You got Kyler Murray.
I need a running back. I'm going with Travis Etienne just because I've been listening. He was going early. He was going 3rd round, but when they heard James Robinson, now he's falling back. Now I'm able to get him right now with a 6th round. PPR, I just need 10 points from him. I got Justin Jeffries. I got Hollywood Brown. I got CeeDee Lamb. I ain't really worried about my running backs. If 2 of those out of those 3 guys go off, I'm winning that week. So go ahead and give me Travis Etienne. I'm hoping to get 5-6 receptions every week from him, plus the yardage. Hey, he might break off a touchdown run. I ain't scared to get him.
Okay, so for me, I'm looking at what's on the board here, right? We got Amari Cooper.
Without
my boy
shots gonna be there.
So I'm split between, do I go for a good flex or do I go ahead and snatch me a solid QB? Because I mean, we still got LJ on the board, man.
LJ is on the
Kyler
board.
Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Hey, Jalen Hurts.
Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts.
Man, Jalen Hurts. That's
old MVP Aaron Rodgers last year. He's still
quarterback's about to start flying off the board, but I'm gonna go with the run that gets the most rushing yards, and I'm gonna go with LJ. We're gonna see what he's doing.
His rookie year, I picked him with my last pick in a fantasy football.
Your last pick?
No, but I mean, he was just sitting there. I was like,
he was sitting his rookie year.
People don't know if he was going to go off or not. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, hey, it's worth the gamble. If he ends up, maybe he'll be good. Maybe he won't. I don't know. And boy, he took me to the promised land.
I bet he did.
Everybody was like, holy cow. And I already had I had a top quarterback too, because I picked him up with my last pick. So I think I ended up trading my starting quarterback at that time, which would have been either Mahomes or it was somebody up there. I can't remember who it was, but man, that was hitting gold. Last pick coming with QB1.
Yeah.
I'm 4 away. I don't have a quarterback and I don't have a tight end. Schultz is sitting there. He's franchise tagged. The only problem I have with this is I have CeeDee Lamb. But like I said prior, Dallas has a very high-powered offense. I expect them to score a lot, getting into some shootouts sometimes. I'm okay with going with having a same player on the same team. Especially, I mean, he had 1,000 yards last year. Well, no, they're projecting him with 100 targets. I thought I said 1,000 yards. He had 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. It's not anything great. He did finish tight end 3 last year. That's probably due to Kittle getting hurt. Waller was hurt. Obviously 1, 2 was Kelsey and Andrew. So I do have Corey Patterson. I do have Allen Robinson. Now he has a quarterback for the first time in his career. Thielen's out there. Juju Smith-Schuster. But I'm kind of hurting. Did he get drafted already?
Juju?
Schultz is gone. So I'm in a panic now.
5 seconds.
I went with A-Rob, man. Allen Robinson. Damn it. That sucks. I was sitting here running my mouth. And thank goodness this is a mock draft. Because now I'm hurting at the tight end spot. The picks are coming quick now because this is a mock draft. A lot of people
they're coming pretty quick.
They're draft.
I snatched up Damian Harris for for the New
15
England
touchdowns
Patriots.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. Like it was plenty other running backs on the board. You know, you had Kareem Hunt, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tony Pollard, but I feel like out of all of those, Damian Harris was the number one that was actually going to produce the most points, even though he's not projected the most. There you go. You up again.
Back on the board. I need a quarterback and I need a tight end. I'm going to go quarterback here. Just to go ahead, I got Kyler Murray. I can hook up. I can get that double points. It's not double points, but it's, if I'm down by 12, 10 points against somebody and I still got Arizona playing, I could win that in one play. So I will go with Kyler Murray. He'd get some rushing yards too.
Yep, the feet for a quarterback is always up. All right, I'm up again. My starting lineup is pretty much complete.
Yeah. What do you like to do right here?
I'm like, do I go defense right here? That's what I want to do. But I just look at this board.
It's a lot of players out there.
It's some player. I mean, Devontae Smith up here, Kareem Hunt, D-Hop is up there, even though he got a 6-game suspension. So I can probably wait for him.
And he could be a starter for your team once he comes back too. You know what I'm saying? You might end up putting him at the flex if you did.
I think I'm gonna complete my lineup, man. And I'm gonna snatch up this Ravens. No, the Bills defense. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. I panicked. I probably should have picked the Saints because now I got 3 people on the same bye week. But a defense on a bye week is not that bad.
No, it's a mock draft too. You know,
yeah.
You're doing all right here. Yeah, I don't think I would have gone this route if it was real. I obviously would be paying attention, like focus, zoomed in.
If it was an actual draft.
I got a Hollywood Brown on the bench. I forgot that I had drafted Waddle. So I actually have Allen Robinson and Hollywood Brown on the bench right now because I don't want a receiver heavy. It's not always a bad thing.
I'm on the clock.
Oh, dang, you got 5 seconds. My bad. D-Hop. You said, I could maybe wait on D-Hop.
Yep.
And you got him.
He was there.
That's when things are feeling good. Like, okay. My tight ends are just, I got Russell Wilson out there and Joe Burrow. This is for a backup quarterback. I might can package. I got 2 great players on the bench with Allen Robinson
that dude, man.
and Hollywood. But I think with Russell Wilson, there's some energy. I mean, I think Russell Wilson, like if you between Joe Burrow and Russell Wilson says who can be the number 1 quarterback in fantasy, I think most people will vote Wilson just because of the scrambling ability.
And he's got the prettiest deep ball I've ever seen, man.
I went with Russell Wilson. So basically everybody's on auto draft other than like 1 or 2 other teams. So our picks are going to be coming right back to back. We'll finish up this draft. We'll go over it, kind of talk about why we picked these players, with some pros and cons on them. Maybe you should have went somewhere else with them. But it should be finishing up soon here.
Hey, man, I'm looking at this board. We got some sleepers in the wide receiver realm, man.
Yeah,
I see. You got the rookie Garrett Wilson still on the board. You got Elijah Moore for the Jets, and one big one because Aaron Rodgers is going to be the new favorite target.
Number 1 receiver.
Aaron Rodgers is going to need a new target, and that's Alan Lazard. And I think that's where I'm gonna go with this pick here.
I'm up right now.
Oh, you are. Oh, don't pick him.
I really need help with running back. I don't have anybody on the bench. I already have A-Rob on the bench. I already have Hollywood Brown. I could trade one.
I got 3 backs.
I will go with a running back. The running backs is Stevenson, who shares carries with Harris. A.J. Dillon, I really like him.
He splits carries too with
Chase Edmonds is going to be the starter for the Dolphins. I'm going with Chase. I feel like he.
All right. Did I lose out? I lost out on Alan Lazard, man. Okay.
That's a steal. Alan Lazard is a steal at that.
It is a absolute steal, especially it is late. So
He's
now I'm
never
looking
had
at,
a lot
do
of
I go
yards.
with,
Go ahead.
oh man, this is
I'll let
tough
you
because
think.
I got 3 running backs. I want another wide receiver.
I like Claypool. He's 6'4", 230, runs a 4.39. You do have Trubisky back there, but I think Trubisky's going to be a lot better than an old behind Ben Roethlisberger.
You know what? This is where I'm gonna take my rookie sleeper pick and Treylon Burks for the Tennessee Titans.
I like it. It's they gave up AJ Brown for him, so he gonna have
Exactly.
to come
So
through.
he got some shoes to fill. He got some shoes to fill. Okay, here we go again. You know what? Who's gonna be a sleeper pick for me?
I know.
I feel like he's going to be the replacement for Tyreek Hill. I feel like he's just as fast, maybe not as clean as a route runner, but I heard on ESPN that they were moving him all around the field, and that's Mecole Hardman for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Huge! That's huge.
So I'm gonna jump a little deep right here, and I'm gonna snatch up Mecole Hardman and see if he fills those shoes of Tyreek Hill.
Whew. Trey Lance just went. I think he's going to end as a very highly. People are going to want him. I hope he can stay healthy. I got to go tight end here. I'm going to go with Fairmouth. Did really well his rookie year.
Yeah, he sure did.
He's going to be an end zone target. He's predicting for himself, he wants to have an 800, 900-yard season. He did not like his productivity last year. He was kind of a short passes type guy. Went ahead and drafted him. But now with Trubisky, I think Trubisky going to be able to get out that pocket better than Ben. I know Ben was elusive at times, but come on, man. That arm was getting weak. He had an elbow injury. He wasn't the Big Ben that we're used to seeing, especially the Big Ben that was producing receivers like Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster's best year. I think he can turn it around with Trubisky and get a better season out of him. Because I didn't go high on tight end, I'm going to take another tight end on this turnaround. I'm going to go with Hunter Henry. Mac Brown or Mac Jones. We're talking about Mac Brown. Mac Jones, the quarterback. That was his favorite end zone target. He had the most end zone attempts. So I might be going back and forth. Knox is kind of tempting too. He had 11 touchdowns, but they got a lot of people there in the Bills. I went with Hunter Henry just to do a back-to-back tight end since I did not get an elite tight end.
Yeah, for me right here, I'm wide receiver heavy. So I'm looking for maybe a running back or maybe a good solid tight end. Let me see what we got here for tight end options. I mean, we got Dalton Knox, but his bye week is 7, and I already got multiple players on bye week 7.
Noah Fant.
Noah Fant, I don't trust them just because the quarterback situation in Seattle.
They got Geno starting.
They do got Geno, but you know what? I'm gonna take your boy Nyheim Hines, who was a good backup for Jonathan Taylor. So whenever he was out the game, he balled. I'm gonna take Hines here.
So I heard something about him before. He had 70 something receptions the year prior before Carson Wentz came, and that was with Phillip Rivers, an older quarterback that would pass more to the running backs. Carson Wentz, not so much. Now that they got Matt Ryan, I'm hearing that's a steal for a PPR, point per reception. He only had like 40-something receptions last year, but now he's going back to an older quarterback that knows how to check down. This could be a steal, especially when you just need somebody to get 10 points because we went receiver heavy. I mean, we're banking for our receivers to get in 30, 25, 20 points, okay? We're not going to need that from our running backs right now. All you need is a good 10, 15. So if you can get Hines 5, 6 catches in the game, plus the yardage, and if he scores a touchdown, that's just bonus.
That's bonus right there. Like you said, I was just on the clock, man. I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I went tight end just because I feel like I needed a backup. I took your boy from Jacksonville and Evan Ingram. He had a lot of his talent wasted over there in New York. But I feel like, hey, your boy
Evan Ingram.
Doug Peterson loved his tight ends when he was in Philly.
Yep.
So Evan Ingram might be poised for a great year if Doug Peterson keep up that same formula, man.
I went in and got the Bucks defense. I know for 4 games they play Atlanta twice and Carolina twice, and I think they're gonna be all right during them games.
That's a smart move right there.
And that's kind of like what you said with the Saints, man. Maybe I should have went with the Saints. If you get the Saints and the Bucks, that's 8 games you got against Atlanta and Carolina. Yep. If you get them 2 teams, hey, that defense might be able to produce for you.
Hey, it really would. You back up here.
There's still top defenses here available. A lot of people hate defenses, or they pick them at the very last. When there's some, but when there are top 5 defenses there,
a good defense is wheels up, man.
When it got Packers, I mean, I'm not gonna play them against. That division is kind of scary because I want to see what Justin Fields does with Chicago. I want to see how Detroit, they're getting pieces. Could Jared Goff be? And, Minnesota's got a high-powered offense. So that was kind of a scary pick. That was kind of like when you drafted the Bills, you're like, I should have went with the Saints. Maybe I should have went with the Ravens with my second defense, but I just went ahead with the Packers. Hopefully they play like the Jaguars or something, and I'll be.
I don't have a backup quarterback here, and I'm not sure whether I want to take Tua or I want to jump down and take Matt Ryan. But with the weapons he got this year and all that speed on offense,
you gotta go
Tua, man.
Projection of what could happen.
Yep. He's a backup anyways.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm gonna start him much anyways. Okay, what we got here? Let me look at my team because I'm up again.
Me too.
One thing I never usually do during a fantasy draft is draft a kicker. So I got the kicker slot left, and then I got the bench slot left. But I'm gonna look and see what kickers are available. And you know what? We got Evan McPherson from the Cincinnati Bengals,
Florida Gator,
who was the clutch, my Florida Gator boy. I've never drafted a kicker, but Evan Money McPherson, you are getting drafted today in the second to last round.
Yeah, he's I think he's going to end up being around for a very long time. He kicks 4 field goals, 4 for 4 in the Super Bowl or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Baller. He's a baller.
He was money all throughout the playoffs and those last few games for the Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm very confident in my wide receivers. I got Hollywood Brown on the bench. I got Allen Robinson on the bench. I'm not as confident with my running backs. I'm going to go with another Florida Gator here with Dameon Pierce. I think he'll end up being the young buck that maybe
running back.
Maybe he won't be anything the first 6 weeks, but I think as the season continues, I think he's going to be the one that ends up taking over. And I will have to pick a kicker after this.
Man, I'm not sure what the running back situation is in Houston. I don't even know who their starter is.
That to me. All right.
Yeah.
I got the Vegas kicker. That is a dome. I like that. They're now in Vegas. You don't have a win factor. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but I look at Buffalo, Denver, New England, and when I'm in the playoffs and I need that 50-yarder to go in, that 40-yarder to go in, I'm freaking out because they're going for it. They're not even kicking the field goal. They're going for it.
Come in clutch, man.
So I'm gonna go with Carlson. They had a great offense. Now they got Devontae Adams. I think they're gonna score a lot of points, get in field goal range a lot. I'm going with him as my kicker. And I'm done. I think you got one more.
Yeah, rounding up my last pick, I think I'm gonna fill it in with one more running back. I got Raheem Mostert on the board. Nice. I got Marlon Mack on the board. I got Isaiah Spiller on the board.
I like him.
And then you got Jamal Williams as well, who's a big back that comes in for DeAndre Swift when he's not in. I don't know what the running back situation in Houston is, because if I did, I would definitely go Marlon Mack.
Yeah. I think Pierce will take over at some part of the season, but I believe
Yep.
Mac is going to start out. And
Yeah. So
if Max Blow does great, he's going to stay there. Like,
I'm gonna
he's
take the
25 years
backup
old.
with Jamal Williams. He gets definite touches and he gets touchdowns too.
Yeah, I banked on him last year. The Swift was injured here and there,
Yep.
and he would get 5-6 receptions a lot, plus the carries.
Mm-hmm.
I like that pick. It's a safe pick. I'll go ahead and screenshot my team here just in case everything disappears. So that was probably some chaos. I mean, if you've done drafts before, you'll know exactly what's going on. What we were doing there was basically just doing a draft. I honestly don't think I would have drafted that way, but I think every draft's different. I mean,
Yeah,
and I mean, I've been in leagues where people trade a lot, and like I will get if a top quarterback falls far, or a running back, or receiver or something, and I need another position, I'll go ahead and grab the best available because I know I can package and do a 2-for-1.
that makes sense.
I mean, and a lot of people, especially I play with a lot of people from Florida, and they're all over Tom Brady. So we could have got Tom Brady like in the 8th round, 45 years old Tom Brady. Okay. I got 2 receivers on the bench that are baller. I got Hollywood Brown and I got Allen Robinson. So I could do a Tom Brady and Hollywood Brown, or maybe a Tom Brady and an Allen Robinson for somebody that they picked in the 2nd or 3rd round. So
Right.
That's things I like to do sometimes. I've been in leagues that they don't trade. I don't care. I can send them my whole team for their one player, and they ain't doing it. It's just and it hurts and it sucks because
It does hurt. It sucks.
I like to make a trade go through. You gotta overcompensate.
You have to.
And they're not going to do it if it's a fair, even trade. They don't want to look dumb. That's the biggest fear. And so you have to give them that extra player. You have to give them that extra big name. I think I did a trade last year for my buddy. I played in 2 leagues that they were in $100 and $150 money leagues, and they had me draft the team and control it for them. And I've been doing this for like 3 years now.
That's nice, man.
But we'll divide everything. They'll cut up the entry fee and then the winnings, and I don't have to pay anything as long as I get in the top 3. They'll send me the half that we win, and I'm always like top 3. And I do that. I package people. I've gotten like, Devontae Adams was hurt for a couple of games, and I just I put a quarterback on there, I put a running back on there, I put all these but I had Julio Jones in this trade. I had Antonio Brown, which wishy-washy at the time. Those are my 2 big name guys on there that I added on to help push the trade. Which, by the end of the season, Julio wasn't anything. He was a free agent. Nobody wanted him. Antonio Brown done quit. But I had these huge names to another 2 or 3 players to get this Devontae Adams who killed it. You know what I mean? So
of course,
you kind of have to do things like that. But I guess if you want to do a recap.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a recap. I like what you're saying because, like, the most important things in a draft are, well, first of all, your draft in fantasy, and then the second thing is how you work free agency.
Yeah.
Because especially in only a 10-person, a 10-team league, there are always people who are sleepers in free agency. And you really have to pay attention to who these people might be. Are they boomer bust? Are they consistent? What role did they play in this game? Do you think they're going to keep playing that role? Right. Because there is a sleeper every year. And that's why I try to find the sleepers in the draft. That way, especially when it comes to the waiver wire and who gets to, pick a certain person first, you don't lose out on that sleeper in the draft. I pick my solid lineup. And then those sleepers in free agency, You got to know how to work it. You really do. You got to know each week who you can let go and who you need to keep.
Right. Right. And it's difficult because when you draft, hey, we're drafting right now. It's 3 weeks before the season starts. You got injuries.
Yep.
You got
Yep.
people that get traded. You got people
Yep.
that hold out. I think Kareem Hunt is now saying he demands a trade.
Yep. He wants to
Here's
get
a guy,
traded.
If he gets traded and becomes the number one running back for another team, he could be
Because
huge.
there's definitely teams he could still start for. I
And
mean,
then-
when he was in Kansas City, he led the league in rushing, you know,
to
until
the Browns.
he had that little situation where he was kicking people or whatever. And he ended up in Cleveland as the backup to Nick Chubb. But
if they trade Hunt, they're used to a 2 running back situation. Chubb's value goes up, but guess what? Ernest Johnson, who killed it when
he killed it. He definitely killed it. Those few games that both Hunt and Chubb was out, Ernest killed it.
So I think Ernest could fit that Kareem Hunt
really
role,
could.
maybe even better.
If I was a Browns GM, hey, you want to be traded, my guy? I will save some money with Ernest, and I will let you go and get some more production to our team because you are valuable back.
Might be a bigger player, a bigger fantasy player than Hunt maybe. And Hunt's good. I'm not knocking him at all.
Because he's good in a running game and a passing game.
Yeah. So those are the things. And typically it happens in the beginning of the season, that first 5 weeks, somebody goes down with an injury, a rookie comes out of nowhere. I got a good story. I got my brother-in-law to join a team or a league that I was in. We needed some extra people. And so I got him in. He goes, I never played. I was like, hey, I'll help you out. So I remember that draft, somebody drafted Steve Slayton. Everybody thought he was going to be the starting running back for the Texans at the time. Well, ended up being one of the best running backs of all time, which now I can't even think of his daggone name.
You talking about Arian Foster?
Arian Foster.
There you go.
So he busts out game 1 with 185 yards, couple touchdowns, and my brother-in-law had him, and he got a trade, and it was traded. Somebody traded him straight up, undrafted free agent, Arian Foster, who only played 1 game, for Randy Moss, who just had 25 touchdowns the year prior with the Patriots, but now he's with the Raiders.
Yeah.
And I'm telling my brother-in-law, yo, do it. I don't even know who Arian Foster is. I don't even know this guy would ever be able to do what he just did ever again. He might not even be the starter anymore. Make that trade. He made that trade. Randy Moss sucks.
Instantly regretted it.
And Arian Foster was the best running back.
I was about to say, I think he was one of the for a couple of years, he was one of the top fantasy scorers.
Definitely. Yeah. So that you're not always right.
Yep. Nope, not always, man.
But you told me, I would have guaranteed, I would have put my life on the line. I'm like, listen, Randy Moss is going to have, I don't care if he's with the Raiders. I don't care who's his quarterback. He's going to do a lot better than this Arian Foster guy. Completely wrong.
It's Randy, you know what I'm saying? Nobody could stop Randy. You were either too small, couldn't jump high enough, or wasn't fast enough.
He broke the NFL record with touchdowns receptions the year prior. Though he had Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Now he went into I couldn't tell you who the quarterback was. It didn't matter to me. I was like, it's Randy.
I don't know. Might have been Rich Gannon or something. Yeah, that was a minute ago.
But
I can't tell you who the quarterback was either.
Hey, you could be wrong. You could be on paper and say, hey, I won this, and be completely wrong. And I think that's what makes fantasy fun. So if y'all have any questions whatsoever about fantasy football, please comment, all that kind of crap. But if you have any questions, we'll love to talk about what players that we like and whatnot. We can do a recap real quick, and then we'll go from there.
All right, so looking at here, man, look, my roster I think is pretty solid. So I got Lamar Jackson at quarterback.
Okay.
All right. And then for my starting running backs right now, I got Javonte Williams, who killed it last year in his rookie season.
Right.
So I expect him to do even bigger things this year. And then Elijah Mitchell, who actually killed it. He was in a more committee type room last year, but when he started and he got the most production, he played very well. And now
1,000
that
yards.
Raheem Mostert is gone, and Debo wants a more wide receiver role versus running back, Elijah Mitchell is panned out to do some great things, especially if San Francisco runs a read option type offense with Trey Lance.
Oh, it's gonna be fun to watch that.
Yeah. So then we got some big names at wide receiver at Cooper Kupp and
Right.
Keenan Allen. Both possession receivers. They get a lot of targets. They make a lot of catches. So those would be good either way it goes. Even if they don't get 100 yards a game, those catches are going to add up. What people voted the best tight end in the league on ESPN, George Kittle. At the flex, we got Damian Harris, the touchdown guru from New England. Bill Belichick loves running the ball on the goal line, and Damian Harris is going to be the guy they give it to. All right. The Bills' defense is a stout defense.
Yes.
They are an all-around defense. Kicker, Money McPherson.
I like it. I like that pick.
Hey, I actually love that pick, especially because Cincinnati knows how to move the ball and get downfield in scoring position. And that's what you really want in a kicker. It's not really always about the kicker. It's how well the offense, do they score touchdowns a lot or do they get in scoring position a lot? And that's what Cincinnati did a lot last year.
I said, if you got a free jersey, but it had to be a kicker, who would it be? And everybody was going Justin Tucker. I was like, dude, I have a McPherson jersey. I kind of like the Bengals.
And McPherson has got that drip and that swag too, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like, the playoff games where he had a really long field goal to make. I can't remember which game it was. And I remember Joe Burrow talking, and he said he just looked at McPherson, and McPherson looked at him and was just like, "Don't worry, we about to win. I'm about to make this fucking field goal."
Really, like one-liner, like, got you, bud. Don't worry. Like, I'm going ahead and knock this through. Hey, we're about to go to the Super Bowl. Like, he confidence is
exactly. He
there.
Straight up, we're going to the Super Bowl because I'm about to make this kick. And that's what you want in a kicker, because most of their job is confidence. A kicker second guesses himself. That's when he misses. All right. So then on the bench, suspended, but still a top pick, Mr. D-Hop.
He would be what, a third, fourth rounder? Maybe.
Yeah, I would say like a third rounder if he wasn't suspended.
Yeah.
So that's a good pickup. I can make waves with,
he'll probably end up being in that flex spot depending on, how Harris does, but I see D-Hop there, you know what I'm saying? Like, playoff time.
Definitely back in, because he'll be healthy, missing those 6 games. He'll be more healthy on the back end. And then we got 2 sleepers, right? So we got 2 people that's filling in big shoes. The rookie Treylon Burks filling in big shoes for AJ Brown, and then Mecole Hardman filling in shoes for Tyreek Hill. And I really, really think Mecole Hardman is gonna pan out, because, like I said, he may not look it because he don't get the same targets, but he's just as fast as Tyreek Hill. Matter of fact, I seen Tyreek Hill break a big play and Mecole Hardman run him down to give him a high five.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the resistance of the wind of Tyreek putting his 2 fingers up might have slowed him down a little bit.
Hey, so actually this summer they did I think it was like a charity event. It was like, who's gonna run the fastest 40, and it was Mecole Hardman and a bunch of other players. And Mecole Hardman, he put it down.
He kind of has that track look, because he doesn't have that agility.
Yeah. Like I said, he's not as clean as a route runner. Maybe that's something he worked on this offseason, which I hope he did. But like I said, I've been watching a lot of ESPN. They said that they're putting Mecole Hardman, and when you say Andy Reid is putting a specific player all over the field, hey, and we already know. Look, from being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, my favorite coach of all time, of course, Andy Reid. We already know how creative he can get with certain players.
Sean Jackson, you talking about here?
D Jax, you know, LeSean McCoy.
Yeah.
Hey, he he notices talent. That's why the year Patrick Mahomes, you know what? That was one of my sleeper picks one year when I seen that Andy Reid got rid of Alex Smith in the offseason.
Yeah.
And I said, if Andy Reid got rid of Alex Smith, who's a good quarterback,
yeah,
one that is definitely not going to turn over the ball. You know what I'm saying? He might not throw for 500 yards, but he's one that's not going to turn over the ball and he's going to produce. When he got rid of Alex Smith in the offseason, I said, Andy Reid really believes in Patrick Mahomes. And you know what? I was very mad that I drafted Patrick Mahomes and I did not start him those first few games.
I didn't know anything about him. I'm not even going to lie.
He went off. It was 5 touchdowns this game, 5 touchdowns the next game, 4 touchdowns. I was like, what? I'm starting him from now on.
And that's the thing. Like, as you as a Philadelphia Eagles fan and watching Andy Reid work, me as a Jaguar fan, I don't care. I couldn't care less about the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, yeah, I want Shady McCoy on my team. I want, D-Jax, whatever. But
exactly,
I'm not thinking about he goes to Kansas City and some guy I never even heard of through college. Like, okay, he can throw hard, whatever. Like, I had no clue about him. And then
I said it in the offseason. I said, if Andy Reid got rid of Alex Smith, that means he really believes in this quarterback that they drafted. And it must be something special. So I picked him up late in the draft. I think if I didn't pick him up, he probably would have went to free agency because nobody knew who he was, even though he was the starter. Nobody knew who he was. And that was my sleeper pick for that year. But I'm gonna finish up this
like my Lamar Jackson story I had for you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Patrick Mahomes took me to the championship that year. So all right, so for backup running backs, we got Jamal Williams from Detroit and Nyheim Hines in Indy, who's backing up Jonathan Taylor. So whenever he needs a rest, Hines is getting in, and Hines produces too, man, especially behind that good offensive line that really they have. Yep, especially in the passing game, like you said. Backup tight end, we got Evan Ingram in Jacksonville. Like I said, man, when it was
just like
Alice
you said about
Goddard and Zach Ertz with Doug Peterson.
Your old coach is here. The tight end gonna be popping.
Doug, man, I'm still salty that Philly let him go so easily and so quickly. It hurt my heart when they let him go because I'm like, man, he just won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and y'all letting him go.
My understanding,
you're in a rebuild.
The stuff that I've read was a lot of people were mad about Jalen Hurts taking over and Carson Wentz being traded or let go. I can't remember what happened. But I think that started the rift because everybody's like, whoa, Carson Wentz, like, we just went to the Super Bowl. Even though he didn't win the Super Bowl, he didn't get injured. Nick Foles took over. But when Jalen Hurts, when they kind of made that switch, I think it made a lot of people mad or just front office wise. I don't know. But that was my understanding. You got any take on that?
I'll tell you about that, right? Carson Wentz I can't blame the people who are mad about Carson Wentz because he was that Super Bowl year. If he wouldn't have gotten hurt, he would have won the MVP that year. The way he was playing, he would have won the MVP that year. But I tell you what, the Jalen Hurts second round draft pick when we had other needs was a complete shock.
Yeah.
Did I like the pick? I'm gonna say no because I feel like we had other areas to fill early in the second round.
Today,
hey, I love the pick, right? It was a security move because guess what? Carson Wentz had a down year.
Yeah.
After that Super Bowl year.
They call it,
he had a slump.
But yeah.
And then the next year, when we drafted Jalen Hurts, all I kept saying is Carson Wentz you could just see it. The decision making wasn't there. The targets weren't there. When he was about to get sacked, like most of the sacks that he ended up getting sacked was because he was holding on to the ball. There were wide open receivers, and he just was not playing like he was. Yeah. And that year, halfway through, I was just saying, you know what? Put Jalen Hurts in. Let him get some experience. Because we all seen what Jalen Hurts did in college. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like people talk about how he got outshined by Tua in that championship game, you know, and Tua
But
came
then
in
he
and
went to
saved, but
Oklahoma,
then he went
produced.
to Oklahoma and ball,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so like Jalen Hurts has the tools and now he's got weapons.
Yeah.
And if Philly and Nick, like so last year when you look at Jalen Hurts, right? In the beginning of the season, Nick Sirianni thought that we were going to be this gunslinging offense. We weren't set up for that. We were losing games, close games actually, and Jalen Hurts wasn't looking too great. Mid-season, he changed the formula. We started running the ball more. Philly started looking good, even with this trash wide receiver core we had. You know what I'm saying? Like who Devontae
Aguilar.
Smith, and the next best receiver after Devontae Smith was Greg Ward. You know what I'm saying? Like, or
Quarterback.
Quez
College.
Watkins. Quez
Yeah.
Watkins played pretty well, you know, and
Yeah.
Greg Ward's the quarterback.
Yeah.
So like
Goddard.
once they changed the formula, started running the ball more, that's when Jalen Hurts started producing more. The pressure wasn't all the way on him. And now that we have the pretty much the same running back room and the same and now an even greater wide receiver core with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins. I don't know who's the fourth guy is going to be, whether it's Jalen Rager or Zach Pascal or the Olympic sprinter guy. I forgot his name, but he played for Oregon. He like broke a record this year in hurdles, you know. So, but Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, I'm still salty that he left. I like what Sirianni is doing. With the young guys that Doug Peterson has in Jacksonville,
Yeah. The
they are going to be a force to be reckoned with on that offense.
Yeah.
Because they added some good players on offense, and then they still got that I'm scared of the backfield with Travis Etienne, plus James Robinson, plus Robinson.
Right.
You know, that 1-2 punch is going to be a kicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
I feel like Doug Peterson was a guy who noticed what he had on his offense, and he used that to an advantage. Because that year we won the Super Bowl, man, we had a bunch of old guys on the team, man. Alshon Jeffrey, who was in his last few seasons, Torrey Holt in his last few seasons. Then we still had Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. We had freaking Jay Ajayi, who I think that was his last season being active on a football team, and goddamn LeGarrette Blount, you know, like
yeah,
he took what he had and he made it, you know what I'm saying, a Super Bowl team out of that. So I think he's gonna do well in Jacksonville, and you're not gonna have the first round pick this year. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have pick number 1.
Yeah, we had that back-to-back years that hurt, and it really hurt because there was no big quarterback, so we couldn't trade down and get this really lucrative trade from it. But yeah, just to leave that, I was so pissed when the Jaguars drafted ETN because we already had a top 5 rusher in James Robinson.
I question that too.
Like, what the heck is this? And then now today, that was Urban Meyer's pick. Today, I'm glad he's on the team. I think he's going to really open up that offense a lot, and they're going to be using James Robinson too. So I think it's going to help out Trevor in getting that step forward with them have to worry about those two on the field at the same time. I definitely. I wrote down your roster. I love Lamar Jackson. You can't go wrong with that pick. Javonte Williams.
People love to hate him.
It depends on it, like you said. How much is Melvin Gordon? I think he's going to take over from what I've been reading. But it's still a wait and see type process. Elijah Mitchell's been one of my biggest mockers, and I do a lot of best ball just to. He's way back there in that 5th, 6th, 7th round. I've read something and people have been talking about it. I've listened to a couple of different like podcasts of fantasy football. This is like 5 years in a row now. The 49ers have a different 1,000-yard rusher every single year. So it's like they don't care what you did last year. They're gonna go with the hot hand sometimes.
Yeah,
You know.
that's what they do, man.
But Elijah Mitchell was a rookie last year. I don't see Sermon. You know, I can see Sermon in the short down situations. They did draft another running back, but he's another big back. I mean, Moser, like you said, is now with the Dolphins. He was breakaway speed. Mitchell, breakaway speed. They're used to fast guys, so I'm really shocked.
They love using the fast guys.
Two kind of bigger backs, and he's the only fast guy. So I think he's going to really do a good job this year, or break out maybe. Cooper Kupp, enough said. Keenan Allen, we already talked about. He's just consistent, 100 receptions. You know, Mike Williams is the other receiver on that team. He gets that boom or bust game. So it's either the world or nothing. He'll get a 5-4 catch for 60 yards, no touchdown, or he might get a 7-8 reception, 200 yards, and 2 touchdown game.
Yeah.
But Keenan Allen's going to be there, 8-9 receptions.
Consistency is the word for fantasy football. Fantasy football, consistency is the magic word.
No bye weeks with him. George Kittle, I love him. I think he's exceptional. I think what makes him, I think you said you read something in him being the number 1 tight end. It is due because of his blocking ability. This guy can block better than any other tight end. Now, there are tight ends that are just blocking tight ends, and if they don't go out for passes, is basically like an extra offensive lineman on the field. Well, Kittle can do that. Like, so he's just like dynamic. I won one year with Kittle because he did that eye test. I saw a few plays from him. I'm like, yo, I think this guy's gonna be good. And then I also already had Kelsey. And this year that I had tight end Kelsey, and then I had Kittle as my flex. And they were that year. Kelsey had the most touchdowns for any tight end of all time, and Kittle had the most receiving yards of all time with 1,400 receiving yards. So I have I like Kittle. I think I got him in like the 10th round for a backup, and he ended up just coming through money-wise. If he can stay healthy, he's always going to be good. You might have some frustrating games, especially like, I need Kittle to score Sunday Night Football.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Trey Lance running in every damn touchdown. You're going to get mad.
There you go. There you go.
We'll see. Damian Harris, New England scares me. I know Ramad Stevenson is getting some good reviews. New England does like to play multiple, pass catching guys, running guys, short guys. I think Harris is safe. But as the season goes on, if he fumbles in a game or something,
he's
his ass out. You know what I'm saying?
Stevenson's going in, definitely.
Bills, obviously, top overall defense. D-Hop was a great pick. Like we said, if he was not suspended, you're talking about a 3rd round. No way he's been a 4th round at all. It might even been closer to late 2nd round. Burks is a good one. Miko, I just have I've been big on him the last couple of years, and he's broke my heart.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, no, listen. You know how many times, because I'll play I'll do these little like 10-cent, 25-cent leagues and DraftKings, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be the day that Miko blows up. This is going to be the day, and it'll be like these long passes. It'll be Robinson's day of 5 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown, or Pringle, or Tyreek goes off, and I'm just like, every time I played Miko, he never had that game. Like, and I see this guy in the end zone, deep bomb, 60-yard. I'm like, yes, Miko, and it'd be Pringle. I'm like, no, or Robinson.
Again, this is one of those Patrick Mahomes situations, right? Andy Reid let a great quarterback go, Alex Smith, because he knew what he had in Patrick Mahomes. So for me this year, I believe he like, hey, we let go Tyreek Hill because we got Mecole Hardman.
Hey, I like it. I like it.
So,
he got 800 yards. That's nothing to knock here in the NFL these days. I mean, and then, I think this would be the season. I mean, this is going into his 3rd year. Like, and
Yep.
I think he plays special teams too, doesn't he?
He does. He does. He's a kick returner.
So that's extra
He's definitely
opportunities
a
for
kick
him to
returner.
bust, break open, and score an extra
Mhm.
touchdown for you. Jamal Williams, I already talked, like PPR, he's great. He'll catch some passes. He'll do the short yardage too. Same with Hines and Ingram. I loved your take on tight ends with Peterson. On my team, I have – pull up my pictures here. I went with Kyler Murray at my quarterback. He gives you a handful of rushing yards. He ain't Lamar Jackson in the rushing
You better
yards,
show up with that contract.
but his passing, he passes a lot. It's a high power offense. I like the pick. Cam Akers, I'm probably staying away from him. If it's a money league, I kind of like to see people perform. He came back after Achilles like 6 months, and he didn't.
That was incredible to me.
Yeah.
Because he tore his Achilles in like the very beginning of the season, and usually if you tear an Achilles or an ACL, your season is done.
Yeah, and so and with them, they didn't even try to do Henderson, the backup. They didn't give him a chance, and Cam was fumbling. He was maybe getting 2-3 yards a carry. He wasn't doing good. Now that he's fully healthy, I think you're going to see him take over. I think they like to say that McVay likes doing those main running backs. He doesn't like committees. He likes having a guy.
Like he had TG, man.
If Cam is that guy, he's going to get a lot of yardage. So it's a gamble. Then I got Travis Etienne. So, that's another thing. I got two guys that haven't performed yet. Neither of them have 1,000 yards. Etienne don't even have a damn carry in the NFL yet.
Hurt his whole rookie season.
So this right here, this is boom or bust. Majority, it'll probably be more bust than boom. I would not go with the Cam Akers, Travis Etienne. But since it was a mock, I was having fun. Etienne, PPR wise, I think he's going to be okay. They are lining him up into slot receiver positions, different formations and stuff with Robinson on the field. I think he'll have a lot of opportunity to score some points. Receiver, I went really heavy. Justin Jefferson, really no explanation.
That's money right there.
Right foot creeping it in the end zone. We got CeeDee Lamb. This is your
number one receiver for Dallas.
Terrell Owens is your next Des Bryant. It's this big, fast, just athletic guy that's going to do really well. And then I went with Pat Fairmouth for the tight end. He had 8 touchdowns in end zone last year. I think he can be a double-digit guy. He's definitely a red zone target.
Yeah, he became a security blanket for Big Ben.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be for Big Ben. He was doing short routes. I think you're going to start seeing him go a little bit longer. They call him Baby Gronk, so he's not slow. If you look at his highlights, I picked him up in my Dynasty League. He was hurdling over people. He was burning people at Penn State. I think you're going to see that. The rookie year for tight ends is difficult because that blocking ain't no joke. And then you're going against linebackers, NFL linebackers versus a linebacker from, you might have a highlight from Sam Houston State. That linebacker is a lot different than NFL linebacker. So it might just take a little bit longer for tight ends to. Kittle wasn't nothing his first year. Kelsey wasn't nothing his first year.
No.
Andrew wasn't anything. It takes some years to get that tight end rolling. I went with a flex. I went with Waddle. I definitely think I can kind of mix them out with Hollywood Brown, Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's a sleeper. Nobody wanted to touch him last year, and he was actually a free agent in a couple of my leagues at the end of the year.
Now he's with Matthew Stafford, man. Allen Robinson has always been a beast. He just hasn't really had a quarterback, but he's still been putting up 1,000-yard seasons too. And even when he was in Jacksonville,
yes,
he was putting up 1,000-yard seasons.
Dude looks just like Chris Tucker too. We'll go ahead and Google them. They look identical. It's funny because I like Chris Tucker. But yes, now he's with Stafford. Let him get a couple games where he's kind of doing Cooper Kupp stats.
Oh yeah, he's taking a place. He's taking a place of Robert Woods and OBJ.
Yeah.
So
Right.
he's
Right.
definitely gonna produce.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really like that pick. But I am receiver heavy. I could team up maybe Waddle and Robinson or Waddle and Brown and get a first, second round running back if I need to,
Yeah.
especially if one of my running backs. And so just because I had Jefferson, Lamb, and Waddle, I ended up going Brown and Allen Robinson after. Like I still hadn't drafted ETN then. I saw these two players and was like, man, I mean, I could just take them two in my trade for one good running back.
Yeah.
So Russell Wilson, just in case Kyler gets hurt or you never know what happens. Russell Wilson is another one that hey, nobody's going to doubt. Could he be the number one quarterback? Yes, he can.
Yeah, he can. He definitely can.
Chris Edmonds with that dynamic Miami Dolphins. Hopefully he can keep that starter position, but I don't know.
It's gonna be tough. They got a lot of running backs in Miami, man.
Sony Michel, Mozart, whatever his name is.
Yep.
Then I went Hunter Henry because I wasn't sure with Fairmouth. I went back-to-back tight end. He's another end zone target. Then the Packers D, Dameon Pierce, and Bucks defense to end it up. So I got questionable running backs, but I feel like that my quarterback's solid. I got receivers up the yin yang. I mean, I might can even combine those receivers. And
you can make some trades with those receivers.
What if I sent you a trade? I gave you Waddle, Hollywood Brown, and Allen Robinson straight up for Cooper Kupp.
Ooh. Like I said, for me, the name of the game is consistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm getting automatic production from Cooper Kupp, but if you sending me Waddle, who's on Miami, Hollywood, who's in the mix, he's taking the place of Christian Kirk. And D-Hop is going to be out. So Hollywood is probably going to be great in the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And who was the last one?
Allen Robinson.
I might take that trade.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to because, like I said, Allen Robinson is taking the place of, he's going to be the number 2 receiver. And the Rams struggled running the ball last year.
Yeah.
So whenever they struggle running the ball, what they do? Put it in Matthew Stafford's hands to be a gunslinger. And when you got a gunslinger and Cooper Kupp won a Triple Crown last year.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
That means more attention from every defense out there.
Yeah.
That means we underestimated this guy. So we're going to put a corner over him and to make sure we got a safety over him too.
Yeah.
Because the Rams, if they want to let Cooper Kupp get that big play, what was it? Tampa Bay, if they want to let him get that big play.
That's the only player you need to even be concerned about.
The one person they needed to be concerned about was Cooper Kupp, and they didn't guard him.
There's no doubt that I thought Bucks were going to win that game after they scored. I was like, it's over. It's over. I was like, they're not going to let Cooper Kupp open.
Hey, Matty Ice came in, and we ain't talking about Ryan, but Mr. Stafford himself.
That was amazing.
And Cooper Kupp linked up for a big play, and Tampa lost that game. So I honestly, that's a lot of value because even if I do take that trade, like especially with the receivers on my roster, because who I got here on the bench,
Keenan Allen, D-Hop, Burks, Hardman.
Like my flex is, I feel like my flex is suspect. Burks, who knows how he's gonna pan out.
Yeah.
Hardman, I got big hopes, but again, also who knows. Yeah. Those 3 receivers are all gonna produce more than those 2. So that's a trade that's hard not to take. You want the consistency from Cooper Kupp? Yes. But that's when you look at the rest of your roster too and see how those other people can benefit.
So I'm writing it down here. So you would end up having Waddle, Hollywood, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, D-Hop, Burks, in Hardman, I mean, you would end up having to drop somebody.
I would end up having to drop somebody, but that's a
Or you
point
can
where
make
I can
another
take those
trade.
people and I can trade D-Hop. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
If I
Especially
get those people,
when week 7 comes around, it's so funny because people never really look ahead. They
no,
wait till the last second, and that's when it's going to be the hardest to trade them. But anyways,
exactly.
they're going to want them. You can even package them with if Al Robinson's going off or Hollywood Brown. You might can get rid of both of
Exactly.
them for one player that's better than both of them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
Especially looking at my roster, now that I look at my roster, I got 2 running backs. Well, both of my starting running backs. I didn't see it when I was drafting, but Javonte Williams and Elijah Mitchell, my 2 starting running backs, both have the same bye week.
the only reason why you wouldn't take that pick or that trade would be because you would then look at my team and say, yo, he got Justin Jefferson, Cooper
Oh
Kupp,
yeah.
and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. See, if I see your roster and looking like that, I'm like, hell
Oh
no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell
I might make this trade with somebody else, but what you got on your roster? No.
no. What I just want to go ahead and just forfeit the league to you? Like,
Exactly. Here you go. I want you to win. Make sure you split the prize money with me. Like,
yeah, I think after you talk to people a while, they'd probably be like, hey, you need some running back help. If you're getting rid of Cooper Kupp, you better get a damn good running back and a good
damn good.
receiver. So I think after talking with people, especially once you saw that Jefferson, Kupp, and CeeDee Lamb was going to be on the same roster.
Oh no. Hell no.
And I think that's why people.
That's 3 number 1s on the same roster. That we can't have that.
Yeah. Oh man, we really went over a lot more time than I thought, but I think that just shows the love that we have for fantasy football, just sports. You know, I mean, I'm sure we could talk basketball all day. We could talk just about anything, hot topics or whatever. But before we sign off,
on UFC lately too, man.
Before we sign off, is there any sleepers? I know you went hard on Miko Hardman. You probably gonna have me draft him a couple times now in these little best ball leagues because he's out there like that 10th, 11th, 12th round. You know, you got a quarterback, and just you saying about the Andy Reid, trusting that, hey, this is what he's going to be, that Tyreek Hill spot guy moving all across the field. Do you have any other insights or any people that you really like?
People that I like, right? So as far as quarterback goes, right? I'm not sure how many people like. I mean, I've been seeing, like I said, I'm a Philly fan, so I've been seeing people doubt the man all season long. But Jalen Hurts is definitely a quarterback that you can pick up in the later rounds. Also, speaking about quarterbacks, no one knows what he's gonna do, but Trey Lance,
I think,
is definitely a sleeper quarterback. You know, you might want the Tom Brady, you might want the Dak Prescott, you know, but Trey Lance, he's gonna put money on a board, especially when the 40. Because one thing about the 49ers is consistent every year is they run the ball.
you're right.
And now they're gonna run the ball with the threat of a running quarterback.
So Kyle Shanahan is the head coach, and his father was known for that running, and he's going to cater to Trey Lance's abilities
And his strengths.
And
There's
it's
a
gonna
reason
be-
why they said, okay, Jimmy, you can request a trade because we all in on trade. So when I see a coach make a decision like that, when they got something, you know, Jimmy's been to the playoffs a couple of years, been to a Super Bowl, you know, did his thing with the Patriots, and you're like, all right, well, sorry, Jimmy, deuces, we got Trey. And you just let him go like that for him to start somewhere else. Those are some sleepers, I think. I think one person that also, if the Giants learn to use him correctly, is Kadarius Toney, another Florida Gator.
Yes.
But if the Giants learn to use him as a gadget receiver, like last year they kind of just used him as like a slot receiver. But if they use him just like the 49ers used Deebo Samuel, put him in the backfield sometimes, even if you got to put him in a wildcat sometimes, put him there because when the ball is in his hands, he is dangerous. So Kadarius Toney would definitely be. I know they got Kenny Galladay, and I think they still got Darius Slayton there too. But Kadarius Toney is another one that I would definitely look for to go big.
So just those players, I do want to hit up on Trey Lance. If you were to give him 20 passing touchdowns, that ain't nothing hard. It's 17 games. That's one touchdown a game, maybe, But when you add 800 yards rushing, that's an additional 13.3 touchdowns. So that 20 turns into 33. And how many rushing touchdowns will he get?
Exactly.
If you add another 6 to 10, now you're talking about 40-something touchdowns. And that's where Jalen Hurts, the running quarterbacks can add so much.
They add so much value because, like I said, Philly was the number one rushing offense in the league last year. And that's big when you got the Baltimore Ravens on the board. You know what I'm saying? With Lamar Jackson. Now, granted, all their starters were hurt last year. Like on both sides of the ball, actually. it was crazy the number of injuries they went through last year. And most of them happened during the offseason.
Yeah.
So that was just crazy.
It was the same week. Gus Edwards and JK went down with major season-ending injuries.
You know what? Now that you mention them, that's a name that I needed to bring up right there is J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
And because when he was a backup that year, I was like, they just need to make him the starter. Because whenever they put him in the game, he has burst.
Yeah.
And for a back to have burst like he does, especially in a Ravens offense, blowing through those holes, when you got to hesitate that 1 second because you don't know if Lamar Jackson is keeping the ball or not.
Yeah.
And you got a back like J.K. Dobbins that has that burst, and you hesitate as that linebacker. You hesitate like, okay, is it Dobbins or Lamar? Dobbins is already gone.
Yeah.
So that's another big name right there that people may not be thinking about just because, he was a backup and then he had a full season hurt. So
I would have rather had J.K. Dobbins than Cam Akers. I mean, now that like reflecting and Dobbins was there, he's just further back.
Yeah.
So I probably could have went Josh Allen at quarterback there. I could have went, hope maybe Mark Andrews was out there. I don't know if he was still around or not, but I could have went that and then maybe Dobbins maybe didn't teamed up with Hollywood and wasn't Allen Robinson on the bench, but or even Waddle. But yeah, I like J.K. Dobbins. Man, his college highlights are pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, they are.
Ohio State.
And honestly, since you mentioned them, I think this is my opinion, right? The best fantasy quarterback this year, just by the way that they ended the season last year, is going to be Josh Allen.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a lot of people, because you think of running quarterbacks, we're name dropping Trey Lance, we're saying Jalen Hurts, we're saying Lamar, we're saying
those are sleepers,
But Josh Allen, I mean, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. I mean,
if I had to pick a quarterback in the first round, I'm picking Josh Allen. At the end of the season, that's because Buffalo didn't really start off too great, but they ended the season well. And it was because they started running the ball more, and they started running the ball more because they also started using Josh Allen's legs. The boy can run, and he's huge.
How many rushing yards do you think he had last year?
I'm going to just throw it out there and say he had
it wasn't astronomical.
600.
631. But
there you go.
His 4 seasons at running back, at 4 seasons as quarterback, here's his rushing touchdowns: 8, 9, 8, 6. And 6 was his rookie year. So the last 3 years, he's getting 8 or 9 touchdowns just rushing on top of the 36, plus the 600 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm with you there. And I think he's going 3rd round. Typically, it's one of those things
because you always want that number one consistent running back and wide receiver in the first couple rounds.
Right. Because it's so hard after that first, second round, you're really not going to find that unless it's the breakout sleeper.
Exactly.
completely, which is a low percentage typically. Josh Allen, if he's there in that third round, if he even slips close to fourth round, I'm scooping him up. Like it's just
quickly.
have to. But I feel like you get a lot of people that might play fantasy their first year. They get on there, they click who scored the most points. Cooper Kupp's gone. Oh, look, Josh Allen was number 2 draft. And then you're like, oh, look at this guy. He sucks.
That's exactly what they do. It's like, oh, okay, who's at the top of the list as far as fantasy points? Like, here we go. Like they'll probably jump in and pick Christian McCaffrey, who's great.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like Christian McCaffrey, right? I feel like since with his history
with injuries,
the Carolina Panthers, if they are smart, are going to now use a running back by committee method. At least in the beginning of the season, because you want Christian McCaffrey at the end and you want him healthy at the end. So this fantasy draft had C-Mac, number 2?
Number 2, and I think, because he is a legitimate 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000 receiver. He's done it before. The other year, he didn't do it. He had 867 yards. He had 2 seasons where he had 107 receptions and 116 receptions. Mm-hmm. And then he only played 3 games last year, or in 2020. He got 17 receptions. And then 7 games, he had 37 receptions. So you're getting that, especially if it's PPR, you get him for a full season. He get anywhere from 80 to 100. I mean, he's the top.
But that's a big if, man. The way his history has gone the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, 2. You got in 2019, he had 1,300 yards rushing, 15 rushing touchdowns, with 116 receptions, 1,005 yards receiving yards, and 4 additional touchdowns. So that's a
he's a
he
big
won a lot of
risk.
people championships that year.
Yeah, I'm gonna take him, but like me myself, nah, I don't take anybody who's injury prone. Like let's say Mike Evans, he's got 8 seasons in a row with 1,000 yards receiving. But yet he's not named a top 5 receiver, top 10 receiver.
4 games. He's missed 4 games in the last 6 years.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why. It's like he consistently goes for 1,000 yards, but he consistently misses this many games every year.
So as a game log, Christian McCaffrey, he had 1 game, he had 98 yards rushing, no touchdowns, but then he had 9 receptions for 89 yards and no touchdowns. I mean, you would hope your receiver would get that, but he already got 98 yards rushing, plus he's got 89 receiving, but then PPR, he's got 9 points just catching the ball.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they're coming from. The second game, he had 72 yards rushing with a touchdown. That's money, but then he added 6 more receptions for 65 yards. So that's adding 2 more touchdowns to his rushing totals.
And that's why it's a rarity in PPR leagues to get that. The running back, Alvin Kamara, is who's surprisingly escaped suspension. No one's mentioned his little fight situation.
So it got pushed back. So they were saying that it's been pushed back for 2 months. So it's going to be during this season when he has to go to court, in September. But typically the NFL don't put down punishment until there's a verdict or So he's going to play week 1, basically.
He's going to play. Yeah. I don't think he's going to get suspended.
6 games max. He might get 6. He'll go against it. They'll come back and slap him with 3. I'm not afraid. I'll take it.
Yeah, he's going to get a slap on the wrist, if anything. I don't see him missing more than 3 games. And definitely not 4. I'd be surprised if he gets 4.
Because he's going second round because of that lingering suspension. ESPN here, he's 18. So if you were to team him up with a Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry, a Najee, you're set, right? And that might be a way to look at it. If Cooper Kupp's there, Jefferson, you can take him. and then your number one running back being Alvin Kamara, like that's a pretty nice setup there. Even if he does get suspended, let's just say 6 games, you're going to have him for the playoffs. If he was not having a suspension, he would be a top 5 pick, top 7. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, like
that's because of the pass catching ability that he gets.
yeah,
And that's just it. You know, the PPR leagues, the best thing to get is a running back who gets carries and stays on the field on third down when you need to pass.
yeah.
That's the most important thing. Unless you got that receiver that's getting, 10, 15 targets a game, running back is the most important thing in my opinion.
I agree. I think we're probably hitting around the hour 45-minute mark. I don't think anybody's going to be able to watch this whole damn thing.
I could keep going, but yeah.
I feel you too. I feel you too. Especially if, hey, let us know what you feel. Let us know your sleepers, your breakout, your bust, people you stay with. If you heard something that we said, you're like, oh no way, come at us, man. This is all for fun. Hey, if it takes off, we might do another week, especially if any type of trades, injuries go down. This chart moves as it gets closer to the start of the season. So we can do another mock draft, play around with it, play trades around with it, kind of give a little insight, help people out. So you got anything else you want to say before we head out?
Nah, that's it, man. But hey, just be careful. Hey, have a strategy. Have a strategy. You know what I'm saying? Like I never pick a kicker, but if you got one that's gonna be money and it's still on the board and your roster's pretty much full, hey, go ahead and pick them up. Have your strategy when it comes to fantasy football. That's all I gotta say. And stick to your guns. Make sure you check those bye weeks. That's very, very important. Because you don't want 3 or 4 players out on the same bye week in a critical game when you need to win.
Yeah. I haven't had that happen to me yet, but mock drafts, I'm like, oh man, week 9 and 8, those are 2 L's there. Like that's
there you go, right there.
Maybe it's good, so all the other weeks wouldn't be bad, but I mean, for sure, 2 losses. Hey, you don't want to play. We don't want to flirt with that.
Nope. Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, thank you so much for joining us, man. And maybe we'll keep this going. I enjoyed it a lot. And
thank you for having me. I had a great time.
All right, go Rattlers.
Hey, go Rattlers.
All right, later, man.
Peace.